will be a great wrestling podcast, and you can believe in that.
I knew he was going to do it. I knew.
This is OT3.
What's up? I'm alright, man. Good one. Oh, is he the new champion? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, gotcha.
I think he should have went to the bottom. But, I'm a fan. I'm happy he has a title. But I really do believe they really killed Rusev during this because he seems like he was an unstoppable machine, beating people week in and week out. And then, this happens. Now it's like, what do you do with Rusev? Obviously, tonight he has the rematch for the title. If you want to make Rusev look good again, have him beat Roman. And maybe you can do a best of three with, I believe the next pay-per-view for them is Hell in a Cell. But the thing is, if after this, what do you do with Rusev? We'll get into that more later with the Raw preview. But now, where does this go for Rusev? Because I feel like the only really big title that Rusev can get his hands on is the U.S. title right now. Now that Roman has that, who is a main event guy. But here's the difference between Roman and people are going to be like, oh, well, John Cena. Here's the difference. Cena defended that belt week in and week out every night on Raw. Are we going to see Roman do that? What do you think?
They already announced, I don't know if you saw, but tonight at the start of Raw, Rusev already cashed in his rematch. So the two of them will start off Raw tonight with that match. Obviously, I think this is just let him show up. The minute they announced him in it and then he lost, no one wanted to see anyone but him win. The year before that, they wanted to see anyone but Batista win, which is why they loved Roman. So, and you know what I mean? But I just don't, I don't like it. I didn't like
You know
it.
what?
I don't like the.
You know what? WWE fans, the hardcore fans, people like me, a couple, we know, who should be rooted for, who has the talent or whatnot. Some of these fair weather fans or average fans that tune in maybe once every couple months, they're horrible fans. They don't know who to cheer for. They don't know who to boo for. They just go with what the crowd's doing. All these people who hate John Cena are probably ones that just go along with the crowd. People who actually root for him, like me, you personally, I know you on occasion you do, we know that he deserves what he gets. The average WWE fan never knows who to root for, and they just go with the crowd. Do you agree with that? I
No,
hate
I
to
agree.
say it because
Yeah.
this is a wrestling show and we're fans, but you know what? It's the truth. Sometimes the live crowd sometimes suck. Last
That ruins a lot of
Monday,
the matches. Yeah.
when the cruiserweights came out, they acted like they didn't know who the hell they were. It was horrible. These guys are coming out putting on a hell of a match on a fatal four-way, and the fans are just like, whatever. Bathroom break. Horrible. You know
Yeah.
what that
No,
comes down to? Them not having the network. If you're a true WWE fan, you pay that $9.99 and you know who they are.
yeah. No. Exactly. And the Cruiserweight Classic, like we've talked about time and time again, was something spectacular. It was one of people are going to talk about this 15, 20 years from now. That started this revolution we can hope in cruiserweight wrestling again. So I don't want to get too far off the task at hand. I don't dislike Roman. I want to make sure. I just don't like that he's being rewarded since he came back. I've seen a lot of other guys. A case in point, huge talent that I thought was a big deal. Obviously, I know there's different scenarios with suspension with how some people get suspended, but even go back to Triple H. Triple H was buried for over a year in the lower mid card when he did that curtain call. A curtain call when he went out to the ring to say goodbye to his best friends. And then this guy was suspended for 30 days, and now he's right back in in
Guess
the
what?
mix.
The curtain call didn't happen. We wouldn't know who Stone Cold was. So
No, and I'm
thank God
saying,
it happened.
and it does but what is this doing for? If it would be different if Roman went to the bottom and then someone else was picked up, you know what I mean? But Roman just took that spot from somebody.
All right, now
We
here's
shouldn't.
another thing.
Roman should be back in the world title picture next year at the beginning of the year. That's what should have happened. He should have just did what he had to do for the rest of the year and move on. What's the point of him winning the United States title? Who's he facing? Who's the next guy up? Where do you go from here?
So it's supposed to be Cesaro Sheamus, but that match ended in a damn no contest.
One of those guys. That's another thing with that match. We'll talk about that once you're done with Roman. Go ahead.
No, I mean I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, so congratulations to Roman. I know you're very happy about that. So I won't take it away from,
I
not saying
still
anything
say,
of him as a
though,
person.
the
I
best
just don't
U.S.
like
champion,
rewarding someone for stat.
the
That's all
best
I'm
U.S.
saying.
champion in the past 2 years is going to be Cena because of all the opportunity he gave the young guys to wrestle.
Yep. Now
And
this
Cena being the U.S. title is what catapulted Kevin Owens to where he's at now. When
Yeah.
Owens took the challenge.
this is where they can, you know what I mean? Like, all putting that aside, my personal opinion of that, if they're going to do something with Roman, this is where they can make it happen. Putting him in the mid card, reestablishing him as if they want to go with this heel turn, this is where they can do
They
it.
came out
Something like
today and
that.
said they have no intentions of turning him heel.
Well, then who knows? I don't know what their plans are, and I guess we'll
You
just
know who
have
you
to.
have come out and face Roman once his time is done if Roman's still the U.S. title holder? Samoa
Who's that?
Joe. And you have Joe come out and you'd say, I'm the real Samoan badass, and he beats the crap out of Roman because if anyone can do it, Samoa Joe can.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Hopefully, it does pan out well for us, the fans. But something I'm very I just don't like the whole way that shakes down. But I think that like I said, it ultimately hurts Rusev the most in the situation. But hopefully, there's more plans in place that we don't know about. So we'll move on. We'll go back now to the beginning of the card, and we will start with the first match of the night, which was the New Day
I don't even want to get started on that.
and Gallows and Anderson.
You know what they should do with this match? As soon as that match started and they beat the crap out of Big E, took out Xavier Woods, and Kofi was by himself, should have done a squash match. They came out, dominated, 5 minutes, match is over. That's what I thought was going to happen as soon as they pinned Kofi. I was like, cool, match is over. This makes the New Day look, New Day is like, oh my God, these guys are for real, and it makes the club look strong as hell. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Dominated the entire match and then lose because of 1 minute of New Day coming back and stupid
With the trombone.
trumpet.
He hit him in the head with the trombone, exactly.
It's so
I
stupid.
get it. They wanted to get them the 400 days, and that's another match again tonight, which why even do Clash of Champions? The tag team title match will take place again tonight on Raw. So that's 2 title matches already from yesterday that are now taking place on Raw.
If the New
and
Day
I get
wins
what they're trying to do.
I'm done. I'm done with the tag team division on Raw. I'll start watching SmackDown's tag team division.
Yeah, and we'll talk once we're done with this card. I want to talk about Backlash and that and see which we thought was better. But you had this match. Everyone's expecting, all right, Gallows and Anderson finally get the W here. They SummerSlam, it never really went down because when anything was about to happen, Big E came down to make the save.
Stupid.
So we move on. But now they're saying, then the New Day has to, they have Xavier hit him in the head with the trombone to, Anderson to cause the finish of the match to take place. I don't understand what they're doing with Gallows and Anderson. If you were going to do this, then you might as well have just sent them to SmackDown with AJ and kept them over there. This is now what match have they won on pay-per-view? Besides their debut match, I think, was it Extreme Rules? Against the Usos, maybe? Because they lost at Battleground in the 6-man tag match because Enzo and Cass and Cena won.
They haven't won.
They lost at SummerSlam. They won at SummerSlam technically by DQ, but they didn't get a pinfall. And then they lost now at night at
They should have
Clash of
stayed in New
Champions.
Japan.
It's just I don't
This
understand
is what
what
they're
they're
going to do
doing.
to them. This is stupid.
I get the New Day. The New Day's big, and all of that.
New Day's fading.
But it's the same. It's the same. It's the same thing with the New Day every week.
You should have added to this caption Clash of Champions review / rant episode.
Yeah, and this is gonna. I mean, a lot of people I think are gonna watch this and be like, what sour grapes did these guys eat? But it's just tiring to see the same thing. I really expected Clash of Champions, and you see one title take place, and it's the one title I didn't want to change hands. I'm sorry, the second title out of the that was my number
club,
2.
You brought them over. They beat the crap out of the Usos. They looked like total badasses. Now you have them losing twice. Like I said, they dominated this match. And the sad part is when someone dominates for most of the match, they're probably the ones that are going to end up losing because that's how wrestling works.
Yeah.
But the whole, the Freebirds rule, I get it. It's kind of, it's cool, whatever. But it's just the New Day is getting old. I think one of those guys deserves a world championship run. We all know who that should be. And I think it's almost time to split these guys up. Big E, I think, would be great as a heel. Have him turn on him. Do something.
I think that's what they should end up ultimately doing. I think they should have Big E be the guy to go on his own. And like I said, I get what they're doing 400 days. They wanted them to break that mark, but are we going to see it to where they get the number one title reign of all time by taking over? I think it was Demolition has the number one title reign, but they still have at least another
70
couple
some
months
days.
before. Yeah,
That
I was
better
going to
not
say 70
happen.
something days.
Don't need that.
Well, are they going to lose tonight? What,
I think they should.
honest opinion, they're going to lose the match tonight?
Yep.
Or you think that it's going to be another...
Because they said after the match, when they go to Raw tomorrow, they'll have her 400 days. There's a reason they're saying that. I think tonight's the night they're going to lose.
So they wanted them to get to 400 and they're going to lose.
I think that's what it is. Yep.
Does someone turn on somebody? And that's the other thing. They just put brand new shirts out for them yesterday. So that's it. They're still putting merchandise out for them.
So they put a shirt out for AJ and Chris Jericho. That lasted all but 2 seconds.
That's fair. That's a fair point. So you have them winning tonight, the club.
Yep.
Okay. Now, just let's go backwards for a second. Reigns keeps the title, or Rusev? Or are we both in agreement that they're moving on from Rusev?
They're moving on from Rusev.
Okay. Perfect. So now we didn't talk about the pre-show match, which actually you got to see Nia Jax in a match longer than, a couple minutes in her typical squash match. And Alicia Fox got some offense in. I mean, I don't really think it was anything spectacular, but Nia Jax continues her dominance so far of the women's division on Raw. Is there anything really you had to add to that? Do you think she's in line next for the women's title, or?
You got to do something because her and Strowman are just killing people. I mean, what are you going to do? Keep on doing squash matches for the next 3 or 4 months? Both of them have to do something sooner or later.
Yeah, and that's why I'm happy that they finally started to give them opponents that aren't, jobbers, like people that you don't know. And that's why I kind of like the Alicia Fox thing. And I like that we actually got a women's match on the pre-show for a change instead of it just being, some kind of random tag team match thrown together at the last second. So, we'll see how that pans out.
Speaking of women's, do you want to go ahead and talk about the women's title match?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's move on to that. Yeah, I was just about to say, let's do that.
All right. I talked about this in the little, the group chat we had. Charlotte has not been looking good the past 2 pay-per-views to me. I think she's botched a couple moves. My opinion. Another turnbuckle botch that they had once again. I mean, yes, she's a good wrestler, but I feel like she's been botching a couple moves, and I really thought it was going to be Sasha who's going to pull away with the belt. For a split second, I thought Bayley was going to win. I don't know where they're going with this, because who's next to challenge Charlotte? Do you get her to get Bayley one-on-one? Do you get Sasha again one-on-one? Or do we see Dana Brooke completely turn on Charlotte, and does she get a chance at the belt? So what do you think about that?
I think that it's going to be Sasha's going to get her one-on-one match, because obviously you saw that Bayley was the one that got pinned. So I think that that's their way of kind of moving on to, back to the one-on-one thing. I think this was a way to just add, like I said, we talked about it, how they were going to do anything to add time on, because they've said from the beginning that the match at WrestleMania is going to be Sasha and Bayley. That's always, that's the end game when it comes to what the plan is for the women's title at WrestleMania. So what were they going to do in the meantime until then? So this kind of added something, because instead of Sasha losing, now Sasha is going to have her one-on-one match, what I think ideally at Hell in a Cell, since that's the next Raw exclusive pay-per-view. That'll be the match between the 2 of them, and then that can kind of elongate it again, at least
them in
through,
a cell.
Because I said Survivor Series, they might be able to do a Raw woman versus SmackDown woman in a traditional match. So there's a lot they could do in order to elongate it. So we'll see how that works, based on that. But what do we think for Bayley if they do Sasha and Charlotte? And if they do Sasha and Charlotte, do you see Sasha being, the next champion? Do you think Charlotte continues her reign?
I think we may see Charlotte hold on to it just for a little bit more, obviously until WrestleMania, so we can get the Bayley Sasha match. I got Bayley and Nia Jax. I got them renewing their rivalry from NXT. Okay. Obviously, we saw that match in London. We all thought, us talking in the group chat on Xbox, how is Bayley going to win this? There's no way Bayley's going to win this. How is this even going to happen? She won the match, choked her out. I think that's the next thing we're going to see. We're going to see these two go at it, and I think they're going to be a pay-per-view match where the number one contender, maybe faces Charlotte or Sasha. Maybe it's a chance to do, like we said, another in-betweener for the title and let Nia Jax, have her chance as a title run, and then before WrestleMania season, you switch back to gears for Sasha versus Bayley, because we never had a Sasha versus Nia Jax match. Never got to see that.
What about Charlotte versus Nia Jax?
That'd be a pretty interesting match.
Right? Charlotte at least can match her on height.
But here's the problem with Nia Jax is you're making her seem like this dominant force, but if you watch NXT, she lost to Bayley, she lost to Asuka, so she lost some momentum in NXT. They're getting it back on her, but anyone watching NXT is like, Oh, well, she already lost these people once, these small people. How can she beat, the champion? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think like I said, I think there's a lot of curiosity there on how. And don't forget, Paige's suspension ended recently. Um, on the SmackDown side, Eva Marie's also, but also Summer Rae is still out injured. So who knows when Paige or Summer Rae can make an impact on the Raw,
Emma.
women's scene. And Emma, yeah, we don't know for sure, but that's what they're saying is that she will return from injury and be on Raw since she's been a special guest referee. And I know she said she's been cleared to return, so I think it's just a matter of when right now. So maybe we see Emma show up tonight and they kind of, like all the women get in the ring and they kind of say, hey, we deserve a number one. They've all lost their chance. Let's get someone else. And then we get a new number one contender. So I'm excited to see how that will pan out on the women's side.
Yep.
So
I think we should get to my favorite match of the night.
Let's hear it.
Let's go to Jericho and Sami Zayn. Like we said, we both had different opinions on who would win. You went with Zayn because you thought maybe it'd be his time. I went with Jericho. I went with obviously the history against Zayn and losing the past couple matches, and looks like once again WWE. I agree with you, are dropping the ball on Sami Zayn, and for some reason they just don't want him to win. I don't know if he pissed off someone, what he did, but if they keep this up, you might as well move Zayn to SmackDown and let him do something there, because this is just getting. I feel like Zayn should be in a title picture, but I feel like this is too crowded of a title picture. What are you going to put Zayn in the U.S. title hunt? Roman just kicked the crap out of Rusev. What's he going to do to Sami Zayn? I feel like Zayn would have, like Cesaro, would have benefited more on SmackDown in terms of title picture. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I don't really understand what their plan is with it. Zayn was, they called him the heart and soul of NXT when he was down there, and I'm just thinking, why'd they bring him up? Like, I understand they need talent on the rosters, but where I feel like he really is getting lost in the shuffle on Raw. He's not in the Universal title picture. He's not going to be in the United States title picture, like you said. He has this feud now with Jericho. I hope this continues, but I have a feeling that was a one match, and that's it. I miss the old storytelling that you saw match to match, where these guys had 3 or 4 match programs, not one match here, and then that's it. And I'm not talking about like Rusev and Reigns. Yeah, they had more than one match, but again, their match at SummerSlam was nothing. It wasn't even a match. So, what they're going to do with Zayn from here is still to be seen. Does he maybe mix it up with the cruiserweights? We had talked about that, him and Neville, being in the cruiserweight scene now that, they had that cruiserweight match, which we'll get to in a couple matches. But where do they go from here? I think he needed that win last night. I know what they're trying to do because they're going to push. I really feel like it's an inevitable thing that Jericho and Owens are going to have a match for the title. When it will take place is still to be seen, but I think that's something that's being worked towards. It might be as soon as Hell in a Cell and like a triple threat. I could see it happening. Putting Rollins in it, saying basically, Rollins got wronged by not, getting any kind. He was distracted. The referee got knocked out. Jericho came down. All that kind of stuff. So I could see maybe him getting his rematch and making that a triple threat match, or maybe even a fatal 4-way. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I was very surprised to see Jericho win again. But again, I love the Jericho character, so not hugely upset with it. But I'd like to see where it goes. For Sami Zayn from here, because Jericho at this point, he's we've said, I think he's the best thing right now they have on WWE. So we'll see how that pans out for Zayn. Hopefully they have something for him, because I know I'm not biggest supporter of Zayn, but I'm tired of seeing the guy lose, and I wouldn't even mind if he has a match and he's like, what, if I can't win here, if I can't win tonight, I'm leaving, and then he goes to SmackDown, because at least there he could be in a mid-card, he could be in a feud with somebody. Like you saw Swagger. Swagger was fighting Jinder Mahal and on Superstars, and now he's on SmackDown and he's facing Baron Corbin. Like, let's, put him over there if it gives him more opportunity.
Yeah, I see what you're saying for that. So, let's move. I guess we can move to, you want to move to the title match?
Let's talk about Sheamus and Cesaro.
First off, I thought Cesaro died during the match.
That was bad. When he landed like that, it reminded me of so much, and I know Lita mentioned it, of her and Trish Stratus's match when he dove out of the ring and landed on it. I was like, oh man, I thought for sure he wasn't I thought he really hurt himself, because he landed dead on his neck. Luckily, he was able to finish the match, but with that bad shoulder already, that could send all kinds of, sensations right from your neck all the way down to your shoulder. Yeah, but that fan, and they weren't even acknowledging it, because I was watching it with Justin. And we were just like, is that a plant in the crowd, or is that, security? Is that a fan? Because the guy was just laying there, and like usually you'd be like, oh, like if it was a plant, someone they put there, they'd be like, oh yeah, look at that, person on the. But they didn't mention it once, and that guy was just laying there, and the video kept showing him. It wasn't like they like panned out of it. They just kept showing the guy, and he's just like looking up, like it was nothing. I thought that match. I don't know if I thought that match was going to be the match of the night. It was awesome, and then they end it like that.
I guess I can guarantee it's gonna be the third rematch tonight. And then they're gonna say something like Roman's gonna win. They're gonna be like, all right, Roman, Roman's gonna be like, who's next? Well, and then here comes Mick and Steph, be like, oh, Sheamus and Cesaro are gonna fight tonight, and the winner is gonna face you at Hell in a Cell, and blah 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 blah. I mean, it's predictable. How's it not?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Really, Cesaro should win this match, and he should face Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell. That's what should happen.
Yeah, I'm not even against Sheamus winning, but I don't think I don't know. I think either of them are going to benefit from this. Another two guys that I feel like, these 7 matches, as much at first, I was like, I don't want to. I've actually enjoyed them.
Oh, and also the one that we didn't get to see. Ugh.
Yeah, on the live event. Yeah, but I've enjoyed it. So I'm wondering to see again another two guys. Where do they go from here? Because you already, like you said, one of them. This should have been from the beginning. They should have said this was some kind of title match, or at least tonight.
It's for a title opportunity, but they don't ever say what.
Yeah, exactly. What title? So where do they go? I really think they should have let Sheamus, even if the match didn't start when Cesaro was like, "Come on, get in here with me." I think they should have let Sheamus run back into the ring at least, even if like the security came out again and broke him up. It would have made the fans even more, excited about the next match. Finally, match 8. As they have to call it, since obviously match 7 ended in a no contest. But we'll see how that pans out with the two of them. And then the last match we'll talk about before the Universal title match is the Cruiserweight title. It was its debut on pay-per-view. It was TJ Perkins' debut on WWE TV, if you don't count the CWC, because he didn't show up on Raw. But obviously no stranger to the WWE. The Brian Kendrick was his challenger. What do you think of the match?
Thought it was great. A couple botch moves. Could be, jitters for TJ Perkins, his first really big live event or whatnot. I thought Kendrick looked amazing. I think it was the best I've ever seen him. Even when he was in WWE before, this is the best we've seen Kendrick. A 12-second World Heavyweight Champion, I might add. Don't forget.
It's championship scramble.
Don't forget. I think it was a great match. I like the little heel thing at the end for Kendrick, where it looked like he's going to shake hands, but typical Kendrick, he's a heel in WWE just like he was before. So it was one of the better matches of the night. Take away that botch move, probably the match of the night.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great match, and I think it was a great start to, like I said, I thought that Fatal 4-Way on Raw was fantastic between Alexander, Metalik, Swan, and Kendrick to find out who the number 1 contender would be. But then I think him and Perkins delivered too at the pay-per-view. So I'm excited to see what's next for them. I'm hoping more people are going to get involved. I hope they don't keep it to just people from the CWC, because there is cruiserweights already on the main roster, that could be big players in the game. So let's see how that pans out as well. I think Raw tonight has a huge capability. I know we keep talking about what's going to happen next in all these matches. Raw has a huge possibility and capability tonight of delivering, because you have so many brand new storylines that you can do. Because you're having the tag team title rematch already. You're having the United States title rematch already. So you can move on from these tonight.
Well, guess what? Here's my problem with Raw doing something new tonight. Let's be honest. Their ratings are going to be bad tonight. They're going against two big things tonight. Monday Night Football, which they always do, which is pretty big because it's like the anniversary of the first time I think the Saints went back to the Superdome since Katrina, the little anniversary of that game. And then you got the presidential debate on another television channel. So, I mean, it's going to be hard for Raw. They said this may have been a Raw that you may not see too much. Probably why they're having all these rematches, trying to fill in for maybe new storylines. But I think the Cruiserweight division do really good. And I think it's time to, hopefully set some new storylines. But I don't expect it tonight. I expect it more tomorrow night because of everything else you have going on TV tonight.
Yeah, no, and I think that's fair. I think that's definitely something to keep in mind, mentioning both of those things being on TV tonight. But just saying in general, I think this is a chance for them to do something new instead of seeing the same exact matches again in, a month's time at their next pay-per-view. And let's talk about the last match. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship. Another match I was excited to see. Think both of the guys are great in-ring workers. I knew something was going to happen to cause Seth to lose. I did not think that it was going to be Jericho. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Triple H will come down. I was against that. I think they're going to try and elongate that process to try and, not show him up right away, because that match at the earliest is going to take place at Survivor Series. That's the next biggest pay-per-view. So they're not going to show him, at this one, because that would leave 2 pay-per-views in between still. So what did you think of the match?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I really disliked the ending of the match, to be honest with you, with the whole, the ref thing. Because, the ref, the second ref came down. He looked at the other one and then got in the ring. And for some reason, that little split second just caused Rollins to lose the whole match. I really didn't like that. I felt like they could have done a little bit more with the ref. Maybe with Stephanie, maybe like delaying the ref. And then after the match, what did no one see? Oh, that's right, a WWE.com exclusive where you saw Stephanie get inside a car with Triple H after kissing him. So another storyline thing that will show up on Raw tonight that no one in the arena saw because they decided to make it a WWE.com exclusive, which really irritated me. I didn't know about it until I saw it 5 minutes before the show. Went on WWE's YouTube and was like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, I saw it this morning.
Which is going to add on to Seth, with the whole conspiracy theory that 100% will come out to be true as a way to get rid of Mick Foley.
Yeah, no, I agree with you again on that. I just don't understand why they had to have all of that, take place. I know they're trying to get the fans even more. The fans are already behind Seth Rollins. I think now they're just trying to secure that he's no longer the heel. But I think Kevin Owens also they need to let him get a win. And this is a guy that
they're doing the same thing they did with Seth Rollins when he had the title.
Exactly.
Not winning clean. And I hated it before, and I'm hating it now.
This is a guy, though, we're talking about less than a year, over a year ago now, had 3 straight matches with John Cena, and in his first match, he won the match clean against John Cena. So why is it now that all of a sudden you need to have 1 million people make run-ins?
Cena doesn't put over people. You can shut your mouths after that.
Yeah,
Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
No, it was last year. It was a year from Money in the Bank. Yeah, it was a year from Money in the Bank, yeah. So, but he won an Elimination Chamber, and then they had the rematch of Money in the Bank, which he lost. But where are we going from here? You know what I mean? It's just I don't understand what they're doing. What Owens I don't want him to be involved either. That's what I'm saying. I kind of want Owens to do his thing, but eventually I have a feeling he's going to end up being aligned with Triple H.
Yeah, it's setting up for Triple H versus Rollins. Like you said, where do you go with Owens? Obviously, Roman has a U.S. title, so hopefully that takes him out of the equation. So then what do you do with Owens? And here comes the beast. We haven't seen him in a while. He's been competing at live show events that no one got to see. So it's a perfect time to bring back Lesnar, which is what's going to happen. Because who else is going? Because when Rollins does his thing with Triple H, you have Roman, who's there to the left? Obviously, the smart choice should be Sami Zayn, but this is probably going to be the filler for either Jericho or Lesnar is what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I think Lesnar
it's not a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Lesnar will be in the title picture again.
They already said he's getting a title shot at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he's going to be in the title picture. I know you're not happy about that, but
if he wins the title, I'm done. I'm not watching Raw anymore. I'll exclusively just watch SmackDown.
Yeah, we talked about the whole card. Let's talk about that now. You saw Clash of Champions. I thought it was good. And then what's match at Backlash was the first SmackDown exclusive debut pay-per-view. Which was better to you?
Backlash.
And you know what the craziest part is to me? Is I still think Backlash was better, and they didn't even have the second biggest match of the night take place, and that was Bray Wyatt and Orton.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt and Orton takes place.
You know what the sad part is? Kane and Bray Wyatt wasn't that bad of a match. That was probably Kane's best match he's done in 2 years.
No, it wasn't a bad match at all, but I think the way they're doing the storytelling there, the Usos are made out to they've already solidified themselves the number 1 heel tag team. Slater and Rhino was a great story. Slater finally gets his contract and they won. It's great to see Rhino, getting something going for him, even though, most people didn't expect him to do much on his, re-debut back with SmackDown. Slater Fans love him. Great to see him doing something. And then, of course, you got American Alpha, the young team that's going to end up being the underdog, in this whole situation. I just love what they're doing over there, and that's just the tag team picture. The Miz, I don't think The Miz should lose. I know everyone will say, oh, The Miz, I'm so tired. The Miz needs to keep the title longer than just, No Mercy that's coming up in a couple weeks. He needs to keep winning. And that's it. I mean, I don't understand what they're doing, that they're, like they did with the United States title. That's what has me so, bothered about that. Rusev was dominant. They have him lose. They don't need to do the same thing with The Miz on SmackDown. The Miz needs to hold it. And then, of course, I haven't even gotten to the main event picture, but Dean Ambrose and AJ becomes a champion, something that we've all wanted to see since his debut. We're already, we were calling for this guy needs to be in the world title picture.
Has the world heavyweight title.
Less than a year, exactly.
Less than a year.
Less than 9 months.
Without the brand split, that probably doesn't happen.
No, and it probably doesn't. You're right.
But don't care. He should have beaten. I'm a big Roman fan. I was rooting for AJ in those matches because of what AJ's done around the world. And AJ was the reason I used to watch TNA, was AJ, Joe, and all of them.
Yeah.
I think
So I
AJ
agree.
deserved that title, even though the low blow or whatnot, still probably better, I think, than the match they had with Kevin and Seth. I think it's so far, SmackDown is kicking Raw's ass. And Vince better start paying attention to this. Viewership, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Shouldn't matter about the viewership. Should matter about who's getting the better match ratings. And right now it's SmackDown.
Yeah, maybe put more behind SmackDown. If you see that's SmackDown and I talked about someone at my job today. I spoke with them. SmackDown has this different feel once the draft took place. That's what these shows are supposed to have. It's supposed to be like a resurgence for both of them. And Raw feels the exact same way. 3 hours is too much time. They're trying to fill in stuff. That's why they brought the cruiserweights. Cruiserweights are awesome. It's something new, but it's the same thing. What's Roman going to do? Seth Rollins is involved with the Authority, and it's the same thing. SmackDown, it's like, let me watch something brand new. Let me watch something fresh. You watch it. The women's have great. I'm sorry, I didn't even mention that. The women's match was great at Backlash too. The 6-pack challenge, awesome match that saw Becky Lynch become the first champion. But now you're seeing this, insurgence of the young talent that they drafted up. Alexa Bliss won a 5-way match to become the number one contender. So now you see Alexa Bliss and Carmella's going to take place at No Mercy. They had a contract signed to start off SmackDown. The girl, the women started off SmackDown. Another great way to start. I just think SmackDown feels fresh and feels a lot different. And it has me a lot more behind SmackDown than Raw right now. And I love a lot of the guys on Raw. I'm a huge Owens fan. You know that. Rollins, I think, is probably the best in the ring right now, besides AJ. I'll take that back. I think AJ is better than Rollins. I think the New Day, I like the New Day, but again, I feel like their characters are kind of getting stale at this point. They need something different, even if it's to turn one of them against them, like you said. Gallows and Anderson getting lost in the shuffle. I think Sami Zayn's an awesome talent. Neville's another guy they haven't really used well yet.
Here's one other thing. Where's Enzo and Cass? Why don't they have the tag title belt?
No, they just keep losing to the Shining Stars.
Why do they not have a belt? They were the best tag team that never won the title on NXT, that deserved it the most, I think, from the Revival, American Alpha, blah, blah, blah. Enzo and Cass, they're the best tag teams on the mic. Why don't they have a belt? Why are they in a feud with the Shining Stars, first of all? And God forbid the Shining Stars are the one to beat the New Day. Then I definitely will never watch a tag team match ever again. And I'm sure Justin will probably say the same thing right next to you.
Yeah, I know. We've actually talked about that, and Justin agrees with that. I don't need to be seeing the Shining Stars as the tag team champions.
They don't even need a tag team. You know when you want to bring the Shining Stars? When Carlito comes back. If you bring back Carlito, then we'll talk Shining Stars.
I think Carlito would help them a lot, because this is a team that they've repackaged, taken away, and they've really never stuck with it, and they really haven't given them a good gimmick, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know.
Shining Stars beating Enzo.
I don't understand where they're going with that. But let's get back to the task at hand. There, you said I go with SmackDown's Backlash was better, and they had less matches on the card. Now I think Raw's pay-per-view time-wise, I think they did very good spacing it, because everyone was giving about 15-20 minutes for their matches. So I think the matches, had enough time to actually showcase what they could do. But to me, I think the women's was the best match of the night again. I don't know about you, but I think the triple threat women's title match was probably the best match.
Even with a couple, I think, botched moves, it was still the best match of the night for me.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, the three of them are doing great things over there. So I think that's another big point they could have, no reason why the three of them can't, have
Main event of
here.
pay-per-view?
Yeah, exactly.
So
But-
how are there? Do you know a lot of women or girls who are into wrestling?
Not as many, and for
No.
the women that I talk to, it's always like, and I hate that they'll be like, oh, John Cena, they know John Cena. Mm-hmm. They don't know.
My wife
like,
knows John Cena, but because of the movies.
exactly. Everyone knows John Cena because of that. Same thing.
Everyone
with,
knows The Rock.
The Rock. Randy Orton, a couple people know, and then there's other people I know that know The Miz because of his reality show. He was on The Real World beforehand, but there's no, I don't know a lot of me personally. No, I can't speak. There's a lot of women that do watch wrestling, but the people I know don't necessarily, watch it. So, and if they do, they don't even know about.
Now, granted, I did
capabilities the women
forced
have.
my wife to go to an event because I won free tickets. She called Tyson Kidd, can I say anything I can on air or no?
No,
We
you
have
can't
kids
say
watching?
anything.
Called
there
him the
might be
P
kids
word.
watching.
We'll go with the P word.
Okay, you could say that, but
She-
don't call
She called
him
him
what you were gonna
that
call him.
because he was running around the ring, which I thought was hilarious.
A little
She was
kitty
there
cat,
with Daniel, huh?
Yeah, a little kitty cat. Yeah.
And then during the Daniel Bryan's yes chant, she was chanting no. So she got a little into it, mostly just to annoy everyone around us.
It's a different experience, man, when you're there in person. It's not like, like a football. It's very, I shouldn't say it's not like, it's very similar to a sports game, but it's not just one team against one team the whole time. You're going to have like 8 or 9 different people that you're going to be chanting on one side or the other. So it's a different feel to that kind of environment. But a funny thing you say about that, I meant to tell you, there was when I would go to NXT at Full Sail, they would call Tyson Chicken to Kid because he would always be running out of the ring or hiding behind Natalia or something like that. So it's funny that your wife said that as well because that, you know what, I miss Tyson Kidd, man. I thought he was great. He would always say fact after everything he did, which is weird to me because they have Kurt Hawkins using this new fact thing every time he shows up, whenever he does officially show up on SmackDown. I thought he was supposed to show up like 3 weeks ago, but they keep just showing, his vignettes backstage. So real quick, man, if you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit about, you brought up TNA before. Bound for Glory, which is their WrestleMania, is taking place on Sunday this week, actually. So we have Bound for Glory the 2nd, and then the week after that, we already got No Mercy. Yeah.
So much. Back to back. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, 3 in a row for wrestling pay-per-views. Obviously not all WWE, but between the two. One of the matches taking place is the world title match, and it's Bobby Lashley versus Drew Galloway.
No.
No, EC3. I'm sorry. Drew Galloway is facing Aaron Rex, right? For the new that new title. I can't think of Global something.
A-Rex versus Galloway's doing for the Impact they're bringing back
Grand
the Impact
Championship.
Grand Championship.
Yeah, well, did you see? That's actually cool. We'll talk a little bit about that because I think that's innovative, and that's something Billy Corgan came up with. But let's talk about, let's talk about that match first. How do you feel about this new? They're going to do 3 rounds, and they're going to get, if they can't score a pinfall in those rounds, or submission, then it'll go to like a vote.
I think it's kind of cool. I think it's new. I mean, it's new. They do this in Europe, these wrestling things with these 3 rounds. This is how they do professional wrestling in Europe, and I think it's something different over here that we haven't gotten to see. I really liked who's in the match, especially with Damian versus Drew. Old WWE guys now finally getting the main event scene, and I think this could be one of the better matches on the card. No disrespect to Lashley or Ethan Carter, but I really like this match, and I really hope Mizdow wins. I'm sorry, not Mizdow. Damian wins.
Aaron Rex.
Yeah, I hope Aaron Rex wins this match. I think he deserves something.
I think that's their plan here. I know there's some doubt right now because Galloway is out with an injury, so there's really it hasn't been confirmed yet whether he'll return or not in time, and it hasn't been said if he's not even going to be there in time. So we'll see how that works out. Another title match is... Yeah, well, the TNA Knockouts title, Gail, Kim, and Maria, another 2 people that used to be in the WWE. That should be a pretty good match, too. I know Maria is currently the champion.
Kim's been inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame.
Yep,
So.
I think Kim's winning the title back.
I do, too.
Especially at Bound for Glory. And the X Division match that I know of, they haven't announced who DJ Zima's opponent will be yet. So that's another match they have taken place. And then a singles match, which actually is very interesting because... Not just a couple months ago, Moose debuted to help Mike Bennett, and now Moose and Mike Bennett are going to have a singles match at Bound for Glory. So kind of like the old bodyguard, per se, is now going to go out on his own, and he's going to go against, Mike Bennett. So that'll be an interesting match to see because those are two, relatively new guys to TNA. And it's showing you that they're kind of, picking up more and more talent, which is good to see. Hopefully that they'll be able to sustain it now and continue to improve with Billy Corgan. But down to the two final matches. First one we talked about. Let's talk about that one first. Lashley and Ethan Carter III. Who do you think's winning that match? You think it's time for Lashley to finally drop the belt again in EC3, or do you think Lashley continues the role?
I think EC3 wins the belt. Lashley, like I said, I have a lot of respect for him. I thought he was great in WWE. I thought he should have had a title run. I know he had the ECW. I thought he should have had a major title run. But Vince's problem with whatever. I think EC3 wins the title back here. I really liked him. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now that's not on WWE, and I really think he comes away with the win here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think EC3 gets the title win. Like I said, even back, when we first started talking, I think he's one of the best things that TNA has going. And, it's funny when you look at it, though. Every match, like the two of their top matches for titles are all former WWE guys, but it just shows you that there was talent there that they thought, they're not really going to do anything, and they're doing well for them somewhere else. So I think EC3 is winning. But let's talk about your favorite match, I'm sure, of the night. The Falls Count Anywhere, no holds barred.
War match.
Yeah, the War, as they called it. The Decay versus the Hardys.
Broken Hardys, you get it right.
The Broken Hardys, I'm sorry. Yes, the Broken Hardys. Do you think the Broken Hardys win the tag team titles again?
I do. I think because the Decay so far has been looking like the dominant team. After the Final Deletion 2, they pretty much decimated the Hardys, kidnapping Senor Benjamin.
Destroying the Vanguard 1.
Yep. I see the Hardys winning this match. I feel like they get the title back. I feel like this isn't going to be the last time these two face off. But I got the Hardys winning it bound for Dorley. I think this Broken Hardys is golden, and I think they need to just roll with it until the end. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that this match is probably going to be the match of the night, in my opinion. I think the Broken Hardys will get the titles back. I like how, this progression, we were talking about it, but you know what? This is so fresh because we've seen Matt and Jeff Hardy have matches over and over again, but this was completely new. He made Jeff Hardy, as he says, obsolete and then brought him back as Broken Brother Nero, and now he's part of him, like they're together again as a tag team, but they're not just the Hardy Boys anymore. So I think that match is going to probably be a match of the night, and I really do. I'm looking forward to it. And I know there's other matches that are still being announced that haven't officially had the participants announced.
Cody Rhodes.
And yeah, exactly. I was just about to get to that. Probably their biggest signing. I know they signed, Sandow, Aaron Rex in there, and they signed Moose and Mike Bennett. But I think Cody Rhodes is the biggest that they've gotten this year. And it goes to show you, if they can put out, the chances like that where not making him exclusive to TNA, they could get a lot of other guys like that. So maybe that'll get them more inclined to continue to, add people. But how does Cody Rhodes get involved at, Bound for Glory? So I'm excited to see. I'm sorry, just Cody. He's not Cody Rhodes anymore. He's just Cody.
That really irritates me about.
Well, he doesn't own the name since that's technically not his last name.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out. And one last thing before we go, let's talk. Do you want to just a couple minutes here? SmackDown. What are you expecting in the go home show to No Mercy? Obviously, you saw last week we had John Cena. Let's talk about that. Dean Ambrose won cleanly over John Cena. They said that's the first time in 13 years that he's lost on SmackDown and cleanly. For one. And also, you have on the other side. I just lost my train of thought. Jeez.
Well, there's only three matches
I'm
so
sorry.
far.
On SmackDown. No, I'm not even about No Mercy. SmackDown, you have the one-on-one rematch that Shane promised between Dean and AJ. Do you see AJ losing the title, or do you think he's going to continue the title reign at least to No Mercy? We'll talk No Mercy, next week. But do you think he's winning on SmackDown one-on-one match?
I think AJ keeps the title. I don't see him dropping it. I think if he does drop it, I think he'll win it back at No Mercy. But I think AJ's in for a long title run, and I can honestly see AJ holding this belt until WrestleMania when he's going to drop it to John Cena.
No, I don't agree with that. I still don't agree with that. But I do agree that
I haven't held it for a very long time.
I have AJ continuing through No Mercy, and he'll hold it. This coming Tuesday again, and then we'll where hopefully we get finally that match, which a match I know I spoke about earlier, but I hope we see Swagger and Corbin announced for No Mercy and Wyatt and Orton. officially announced, because I know we have the 3 title matches announced, which I like the way they're building the Usos. I just hope it doesn't spell the end of Rhino and Slater already. But we have the 3 title matches. You still don't have an Intercontinental title match, which I think ultimately will end up being announced to be Ziggler and The Miz. And I think it's going to be some kind of match where either Maurice is banned from ringside or a steel cage match. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm just so much more excited for SmackDown than I am for Raw. So I'm excited to see how No Mercy pans out, because now they're going to have arguably, three of their top guys weren't even. I mean, I'm sorry, Wyatt was there, but originally he was supposed to face Orton, so Orton wasn't on it, and Cena wasn't. And now both Orton and Cena will probably more than likely be in action.
Cena is they're saying after this he may take a good 1 to 2 month break.
Yeah, they're saying
so. Next time we see Cena will probably be, I think, Survivor Series they have him on,
and then he'll be gone again until January. I think they were
Royal
saying
Rumble probably is when we'll see him back again.
Yeah,
which I have no problem with it.
Yeah, no, and if he's going to be used sparingly like that, that's fine, and eventually, I think he'll be back after he's done filming the show again, continuously on a full-time basis.
Of course, he's got WrestleMania season coming. He's not going to miss that.
So, let him do what he's got to do and bring more people to watching SmackDown. But also another thing, when Nikki, Bella, and Carmella, there's talk of maybe them having the first ever, no DQ match for women. That would be something interesting to see.
That should be good.
At No Mercy. So we'll see how SmackDown pans out.
Attitude adjusts. Carmella.
Oh, no.
Heel turn. There it is.
No, we're not going to do the heel turn. But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else. We reviewed Clash Champions, talked Down for Glory. We talked about, of course, Raw tonight. We gave our predictions, and then SmackDown. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Matt?
I don't. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, next week we'll have a big episode. But, before we give it to Paul, can I make a quick announcement about Shipe Sports Talk?
Yeah, sure.
After weeks of thinking about it, a couple months of having him on the show, I'd like to announce that my OT3 co-host, Anthony, will now be a full-time part of the Shipe Sports Talk as another co-host. On the show, hopefully, work permitted every week. So not only will you see Anthony on OT3, he is now officially on Shipe Sports Talk. So Anthony, welcome to Shipe Sports Talk as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to showing up tomorrow. Obviously, I was hoping my debut as a series regular would come on a Giants win, but it'll have to take place on another time, I guess. But I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow. So if you guys enjoy, our dynamic here on OT3, you're gonna love it even more on Tuesdays, because not only do we have, Paul again, our awesome producer, but we also have Chris, and we'll have the coach back in a couple months. So there'll be 4 of us sometimes on episodes,
awesome.
dishing it out as well. I'm sorry, 5, including Paul. So.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. So I guess it's Paul.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a good addition, that's for sure, Mr. Anthony.
I appreciate it.
Woohoo! All right, so yeah, thanks everybody for watching, for listening, for streaming, for commenting. I don't know if we had any comments. I don't think we did, not too many, but we're here every Monday at 7 o'clock, around 7 o'clock. And we'd love for you to go ahead and follow us on the social media. So we have at OT3 Podcast 1 on Twitter, OT3podcast@gmail.com for sending us emails. And, of course, follow us on Facebook. Like us. It's Facebook.com/Off the Top Turnbuckle. And be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Shipe Sports Talk, 7 o'clock. Right, Matt?
Yep, 7 o'clock tomorrow.
All right.
Anthony's first episode as a co-host.
So yeah, is that it for you, Paul?
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say thank you again for watching tonight. We will also be announcing soon. We will have our first special guest on OT3 here in the next couple weeks. So we'll be announcing that soon, and we'll definitely be talking about that. We look forward to having him join the show in a couple weeks from now at least. So we'll definitely have more info on that in the coming weeks. And yeah, like Matt said, look forward to tomorrow. I'll make my debut on the Shipe Sports Talk, and please watch tomorrow. I have a feeling it'll be a very interesting show to recap not only, obviously the Giants game, but also the Mets and the Nationals. We're getting really close here in the postseason, so let's talk about that some more. And Paul, I know I ask you every week, do we have Crazy Talk this Wednesday for you?
No, not this Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'm actually leaving for San Diego on Thursday, so.
Oh, wow.
Okay, excellent.
Nice.
And, we just got to get everything ready with the kids and stuff. So, unfortunately,
all right.
But those guys
All right, well.
they're itching, so they should be coming around the corner here soon.
All right. So definitely stay tuned for that here too, Paul. We'll definitely announce it here on OT3 to let you guys know to watch on Wednesday for his Crazy Talk podcast. And we're going to let you go here. It's a little before 8, obviously, since they announced that the United States title rematch. I know Matt needs to make sure he's there on time so he can watch Roman at least make his entrance. So I'll let you guys go with that. I hope everyone has a good night, and have a good one, Matt, Paul. I'll see you.
Take care.
See you guys.